This video is brought to you by Brilliant. The past few months have been quite turbulent for the Czech government. With the next parliamentary elections in less than a year, 2024's European and regional elections was widely perceived as a test of popularity for the five governing parties: ODS, the Mayors, Christian Democrats, Top 09 and the Pirates. Unfortunately, these tests haven't gone so well. In June's European Parliament election, their total vote share declined by 10% compared to 2019. And in September, the governing parties lost more than a fourth of their seats in the regional assemblies, sparking a public spat with the Prime Minister that ended the Pirates leaving the government. This has only exacerbated the government's unpopularity, and Morning Consult polling suggests that the Czech Prime Minister, Petr Fiala, is literally the least popular leader in Europe, behind even Emmanuel Macron and Olaf Scholz. So in this video, we're going to take a look at how the current coalition became this unpopular, whether they can recover, and who might replace them if they don't. Before we start, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing and ringing the bell to stay in the loop and be notified when we release new videos. So let's start with a bit of context. Czech politics are currently dominated by two major political forces: the centre-right coalition Spolu, meaning together in Czech, and the catch-all populist movement ANO, which translates to yes. ANO, which is led by billionaire and agricultural magnate Andrej Babiš and was in government from 2014 to 2021. However, due to a severely bad fallout from the COVID pandemic, where Czechia suffered through prolonged lockdowns and one of the highest mortality rates in the world, ANO lost the election to the newly formed Spolu coalition, led by political science professor Petr Fiala and composed of the conservative ODS, Christian Democratic KDU-CSL, and the liberal conservative Top 09. Spolu subsequently entered government with two other parties, the Liberal Mayors and Independent Movement, and the more progressive Pirates Party. This new heterogeneous government has gained the nickname Pětikoalice, or the Five Coalition. We've made a full video about this, so go and check that out if you want more context. However, since taking power, the Five Coalition has faced several challenges. In the immediate aftermath of the war in Ukraine, gas and electricity prices skyrocketed, with Czechs paying the highest electricity bills in the European Union, according to Eurostat. The government reacted by capping energy prices and subsidising the difference, which cost the government hundreds of billions of crowns. This, in addition to much higher defence spending in response to the war, meant that the government had to impose budget cuts in order to prevent a growing deficit. It increased taxes on small businesses and working people, while reducing the pension valorisations and increasing the retirement age from 65 to 67 years old. To make matters worse, in October, the government also approved a pay rise for politicians, which didn't go down well with the public, given the fact that since 2019, Czechs have seen the largest decline in real wages across the EU. Unsurprisingly, the government now isn't very popular, and Petr Fiala, who's long ranked as the least liked European head of government, has a net approval rating of -59. In another poll, only 24% of Czechs say they trust the government, in contrast to the 73% who don't. The most recent European elections confirm this trend. ANO beat Spolu, mainly by focusing its campaign on stopping illegal migration to Europe. The voters also lent support to new political upstarts, namely the right-wing anti-net zero motorist party and left-wing anti-NATO coalition called Enough, which is led by the resuscitated Communist Party. In the regional elections, ANO won in 10 out of the country's 13 regions and enjoyed over 35% of the popular vote, winning more seats in the regional assemblies than all the government parties combined. The biggest loser of these two elections is the Pirate Party, which lost 2 out of its 3 MEPs and all but 3 of its 99 regional representatives. This can be attributed mainly to two things. Firstly, its failure to deliver its key promises like gay marriage, decriminalisation of marijuana, and relaxation of copyright laws. Secondly, the pirate leader and now Minister for Regional Development, Ivan Bartoš, mishandled the digitisation of building permit procedures, effectively leading to slower construction, all while the country faces the worst housing crisis in Europe. This was also the stated reason for why Petr Fiala suddenly removed Bartoš from the cabinet, resulting in pirates quitting the government. Given that the Pirates only have 4 seats in the lower chamber, their exit did not trigger a government collapse. But the new Pirate leader has vowed to moderate the party and target centrist voters. Aside from the Pirates, Spolu may soon face another competitor. The former finance minister and co-founder of Top09, Miroslav Kalusek, has left his party after long criticising the government for not being fiscally responsible enough, and now seems to be forming a new party, which would undoubtedly target the same voters as Spolu. Contrary to expectations, Prime Minister Petr Fiala has done little to acknowledge his crumbling support, calling the recent electoral defeat non-fatal. He even said in an interview that anyone who's not dumb can see that the government has successfully led the country through several crises. In October, the ODS, Top09 and Christian Democrats announced they would continue their cooperation with Spolu for the upcoming parliamentary election, with the stated aim to again beat the populists. As of now, however, Spolu polls at 20%, 15 points behind ANO, and even together with the mayors, it still falls short of beating their main rival. So this begs the question, how has ANO reached this record high popularity? After all, it too faced low approval ratings less than 4 years ago. Well, the short answer is that, despite losing the 2023 presidential election to a pro-government candidate, Petr Pavel, Andrej Babiš maintained steady pressure, campaigning against the ongoing budget cuts and tax hikes. ANO, meanwhile, shifted right on social issues and became more Eurosceptic, targeting disaffected Spolu voters as well as supporters of the nationalist SPD party. For this reason, ANO left the European ALDE party and co-founded Patriots for Europe along with Hungary's Fidesz and the Austrian FPO. Babiš has also been helped by the fact that he was cleared of charges in an EU funds embezzlement case, while no longer being registered as a former informant for the communist secret police, both major scandals plaguing his reputation. While he may be a controversial figure, he mitigates this by propping up other personalities from the movement, primarily ANO's deputy leader, Karel Havlicek, whom Babiš designated as his shadow prime minister. In a nutshell, it now seems highly unlikely that the 4 remaining government parties will be able to reverse the trend and defend their parliamentary majorities at next year's election. Babiš doesn't seem to be losing momentum and is reaching historic levels of popularity. The Pirates and Kalusek's new party, meanwhile, threaten to put a dent in government party support, while anti-government upstarts like Enough and motorists might also have a shot at entering parliament, becoming potential coalition partners for Babiš. Spolu and the mayors now need a miracle to avoid a complete defeat, or at least a major change in strategy if they hope to bounce back. Now, as a TLDR viewer, it's clear that you have a thirst for learning. After all, why else would you have watched a 10-minute video explaining Czech politics? Now, if you want to continue your learning journey, you really should check out Brilliant. Brilliant is the online learning platform where you learn by doing, with thousands of interactive lessons in maths, data analysis, programming, and AI. These hands-on lessons have you comparing circuits to understand voltage and current, playing snooker to learn the rules of collision, planning your itinerary for an intergalactic music festival on a space-time diagram, and more. That way you'll build your natural intuition while gaining deep knowledge of scientific principles. In fact, Brilliant actually recently launched tons of new data science content, all of which uses real-world data to help you see trends and make better informed decisions. And don't worry, you don't need to be a world-renowned scientist to understand these courses either. Brilliant's courses are designed for learners of any level. Find out more and to try everything Brilliant has to offer for free for a full 30 days, visit brilliant.org/TLDR or click the link in the description. You'll also get 20% off an annual premium subscription. Thanks for your support and thanks to Brilliant for supporting this video.